Yo, it's your boy Bernard, aka the Scarlet Spider, and welcome to another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast, where I will be talking about all things geek and pop culture related that's happened this past week. Unfortunately, we have to give a rest in peace to Akira Toriyama, who we all know as the creator of the Dragon Ball universe, so Dragon Ball Z. He also created the Dragon Quest games, Blue Dragon, and Chrono Trigger. He passed away on March 1st at the age of 68 years old, and it was from an acute subdermal hematoma. So the family had the funeral privately, and his production company, Bird Studio, announced his death on the 8th. And apparently he had plans to undergo surgery for a brain tumor in February. But so people were mad that we found out a week later. It's like his family didn't owe us anything, okay? Let them grieve on their own, and when they want to tell us, they'll tell us, and that's what they did, okay? So I don't know when this phase of like elitism came along, where it's like, oh, you got to tell me every single detail about your life. But we can't do that as a people, okay? But yeah, I mean, the man has a profound library of creations. Dr. Slump, like I said, Dragon Ball. He worked on Sandland, which is actually being turned into a video game. Me and Samir talked about it a while ago. He also worked on Kashka in the 90s, and Kawa. But yeah, we have to give a rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. We also have to give a rest in peace to Mark Dodson, who is known for his iconic voice work in Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Gremlins. He passed away at the age of 64. So according to his daughter, she said that he was in Evansville, Indiana to attend HorrorCon, and he checked into his hotel and suffered a massive heart attack while he was sleeping. But he was the voice of Delicious Crumb, who was Jabba the Hutt's sidekick in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and eventually he became the voice of basically all the Gremlins, so we have to give a rest in peace to him as well. All right, so we got an update on the Karate Kid film revival, and there's been some news like here and there, but I just kind of wanted to like let a bunch of it like build up. So, casting news. Ben Wang is the new Karate Kid. And I feel like he was in American Born Chinese that was on Disney Plus. Let me go to his filmography real quick. Okay, he doesn't have a Wikipedia because that is somebody else. Yeah, he was on American Born Chinese, Chang Can Dunk, Sight, and Dinner is Served. Oh, he was also in the 2024 Mean Girls musical. Okay, he played Jacob Zing. Yeah, I mean, it's good that he's getting more work because American Born Chinese was a good show that no one watched, and unfortunately it did get canceled. Oh, he was on an episode of The Last OG and MacGyver, so I've seen him around. All right, Joshua Jackson, who we all know from Dawson's Creek as Percy, and I cannot remember his character's name from the Mighty Ducks because it's been so long since I've seen the show, and I typed in Percy, and I don't even remember what Percy's last name is on Dawson's Creek. Voiceover moment. I meant Pacey. Let's check out Joshua Jackson. What was his character's name from the Mighty Ducks? I always forget that he's Canadian. He was Charlie. What was Charlie's last name? He was also Peter Bishop on Fringe. Very good show. If you haven't checked it out, watch it on Max. I think it's like 4 seasons. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, Wikipedia. I mean, IMDb doesn't have Charlie's last name. Okay, what was Percy's last name? I forgot. He was in Cruel Intentions, but he is also joining the cast of the Karate Kid. Percy Witter. All right, and Ming Na Wen, who was the OG Mulan, made a cameo in the live action remake. She played Melinda May on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was also Chun-Li in 1994 Street Fighter. She is also joining the cast of the Karate Kid. So can't wait to see this movie because we got both senseis in this piece. So we got David LaRusso and whatever Jackie Chan's character's name was. I feel like it was Mr. Han. Not entirely sure. And I kind of want to check just to, make sure I'm not being, a little, not necessarily racist, but I don't know. I'm just ranting at this point. I was right, Mr. Han. Haha, suck it. All right, so Warner Brothers Games, despite the massive failure of Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, has decided to further invest in live service games. It's just like, did y'all not get that we boycotted this game for a reason? It's like, y'all just gonna do whatever you want to do anyway, but hey, I mean, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to video game studios. So they said, yeah, this looks like, it's the future of gaming, which I guess some people think it is, but JB Perrette, who is the president of streaming and games, spoke about the strategy during a Morgan Stanley event. He acknowledges the excess of single player games like Hogwarts Legacy, which managed to be last year's best selling game in the US, but he says the business of AAA console games can be volatile. He also said that it's a great business when you have a hit like Hogwarts Legacy and it makes the year look amazing. Unfortunately, we also have disappointments. We just released Suicide Squad this quarter, which was not as strong. It just makes it very volatile. So, yeah, we didn't want this to be a live service game. If this was just going to be a single player game or a possible multiplayer game, that's cool. But as soon as you make a game like this, when everything else in the Arkhamverse is a single player game, live service, we don't want it. And that was because everyone was looking forward to this game when it was first announced, and when we first saw the trailer, it's the leaks that fucked you over. Okay, as soon as we saw like this was like a Fortnite knockoff, we were just like, nah, we cool, we don't want this. Nobody asked for this. And so they also announced that we will be getting a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, and that will also be a live service game. It's like, oh god, I quit. But yeah, he also explained that Warner Brothers is looking at its 4 major franchises, which are Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and obviously DC, and is hoping to expand in the mobile and multi-platform free-to-play space, and that it will take some time for Warner Brothers' efforts to come into fruition. And Perrette estimated that we'll see the impact between 2025 and 2027. So I don't play any of the mobile Warner Brothers games. I think the last one I played was like the first Injustice. It's just this turn-based fighting games. It's just weird. That's why I never really got into Final Fantasy before Final Fantasy 15. Like, I think the last turn-based thing I actually played was Pokemon Gold and Silver. I somehow, somewhere along the lines of me getting older, I was just like, I don't have the patience for this turn-based crap. That's why I don't play card games. I couldn't get into The Witcher because that stupid card game in there. And it's another reason why I don't play Pokemon anymore. I mean, it would be nice to get into Pokemon again, but like I said, turn-based, can't do it. But yeah, no one wants a live service Hogwarts Legacy. So get back to releasing just AAA titles and y'all will be fine. But I'm just like, oh yeah, we didn't live up to expectations, so we just gonna keep going. It's like dumb. Stop it. It's like you saw that it didn't live up to expectations, and you just said, "Oh, we just gonna double down." It's only one double down I care about, and that's the sandwich. So, a movie franchise that hasn't been seen in like I want to say like 8 years. I feel like it might be less. Let's double check this real quick. Oh, 13 years. So, Final Destination. The sixth film, Final Destination Bloodlines, has begun filming. So the producer, who is Craig Perry, he wrote on social media earlier this week. He said that the long, hard slug through the pandemic and the strikes, day one is finally in the can. 2025 will mark the 25th anniversary of the release of the first installment in the Final Destination franchise. And to honor this occasion with another worldwide theatrical release, and IMAX no less, is a rare and wonderful thing. He said, see you next year. I know Pet Cemetery's Bloodlines exist, but this is the title we've had for 3 years. We're keeping it moving for now. So Zach Lipivsky and Adam Stein are directing this movie. But yeah, Jeffrey Reddick, who is the film creator, he gave some insight into what this one is going to be about. He said the film dives into the film in such a unique way. This film dives into the film in such a unique way that it attacks from a different angle, so you don't feel like, there's an amazing setup and it's going to be one wrinkle that can potentially save you all that you have to kind of make a normal choice about or do to solve it. There's an expansion of the universe that then he stopped himself because he didn't want to spoil it. But yeah, I mean, here's my issue with Final Destination, and it's not Final Destination as a overall thing. It's just with the last one. So, is this going to be, spoiler alert for a 13-year-old movie, by the way, guys? Is this going to be after the first one, or is this going to be like a prequel type situation like Final Destination 5 was, or the Final Destination, whichever one you want to call it? So, because I don't need to go back to the whole Flight 180 thing. Can we just like do our own thing now and, keep it moving? What do you guys think? Let me know via, reviews. So, Karan Sony, who we know from Deadpool and Wolverine and Across the Spider-Verse, as Dopinder, he said that there are a lot of cameos in this movie. And he just said, let's just say a lot of people travel to London. So here's what I don't get. He was doing an interview with Variety, and he was talking about basically how this movie came to be. And he said back when they were doing the second one, Ryan was plotting this all along. And he said he remembers Ryan spilling to him at lunch one day that he had started a conversation with Hugh and saying that people are going to flip out, but then the studio got sold to Disney and a lot of other stuff happened. And of course, Ryan followed through because it was just a dream casting. So he said this new MCU version of Deadpool is ultra secretive, but he teased that the fans will be blown away by what else was included in the film. And yeah, like I said before, all we know is that Jennifer Garner is indeed confirmed to be in this film, as well as the guy who played Pyro, whose name I'm drawing a blank on. But yeah, I cannot wait to see Deadpool and Wolverine this summer. Oh, so Stellar Blade. This is a little bit of gaming news. The demo was posted online for like about 20 minutes, and it was removed like that. And if you downloaded it, you got it. But if you tried to play it after a while, it just locked up on you. So I wonder what happened with that per se. No one's like really giving any details about why it was posted or why it was removed. So it's just it's mind boggling sometimes the crap that you go through when you have digital purchases, because I always said the company can remove something like that and block your access to it. It's the same type of situation with the PT demo. I don't know if you guys remember, but PT was basically a more or less Silent Hill soft reboot that Hideo Kojima was doing with Norman Reedus. The demo was on PS4. And once Kojima left, was it because he left Konami, or did the game just get canceled before that? I can't remember, but once you deleted that demo, you could not play it again unless you kept it saved on your PS4, to the point where some people were selling their PS4s for thousands of dollars on eBay. Actually, let me see if I can actually find a a um, a PS4 with PT on it. Let's go to shopping. All right, so yeah, someone is selling a PS4. Well, this is the difference. This one is with PT. It has a terabyte hard drive and 33 games on it for $14.99. Still a little bit excessive. And someone's selling another one for $693. So PlayStation 4 with PT demo and two controllers and two games for $693. But yeah, so that's why we said go physical. So for all of you fans of TikTok, and not the Kesha song, I'm talking about the app. So the U.S. House panel has unanimously approved a bill that would ban TikTok from all devices if their parent company ByteDance doesn't sell it. So they have 163 days to sell TikTok. I'm sorry, 165 days to sell TikTok if, the bill is enacted. And Joe Biden said if the bill is enacted, he will sign it automatically. First thing he does. All right. Don't know if y'all, I don't even know if we talked about it on the podcast when Samir was still here. I'm not a fan of TikTok. I don't need another app mining my data. Okay. And especially when in a foreign country. And his analogy is, oh, well, Facebook does it. Twitter does it. So why add to it? Okay. Because you can Google yourself and see like a lot of your stuff online, or you can like put up firewalls and prevent your information from being out there. So the last thing I want to do is add to the steaming pile of data garbage. So fuck TikTok as a staff app and a record label. All right, guys. So I don't know if you knew about this, but apparently there is going to be a Halloween TV series from Miramax, and it said that it will be a creative reset of the long-running franchise. So, according to Deadline, the production company's head of worldwide television, Mark Helwig, stated that the Miramax Enchantress project is on the fast track and a big priority, as it will hope to launch a new cinematic universe in both film and television. We've had lots of exciting conversations in recent months with a number of really talented people, and I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be doing very soon. He said we're hoping to lock down a creative team very soon as well. And he continued to state that the Halloween series is a big world and that they will not try to pick up where Halloween ends left off. He said the foundation of its original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we really haven't focused that much on in the recent film versions or even in a number of them. It's a creative reset completely, and we're going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out of any more of the recent film adaptations. So, I don't get why we're going to go. It's just like, so this is going to be dated in the 70s, I guess. But what? Can we please just like come up with something else? I get it. Hollywood is out of ideas. So everything's getting redone. I mean, I saw a few days ago that we're getting a fucking Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson. It is what it is. I mean, we really can't do anything besides either watch it or not. And more than likely, I probably won't be watching this. I was never really big on Michael Myers as a whole because it's just like, Freddy, I get, okay? He's dead. He's basically a specter haunting your dreams and nightmares. Jason, he's dead as well. He's a supernatural force who somehow came back from the dead. Chucky, he's a haunting spirit possessing a doll. Michael Myers, I don't get. This man should have been dead like 58 times over. How many times can you get shot in the head or shot up and not go to the hospital or be cared for, treated by any type of medical professional? And it's always like, oh, he's just that evil. It's just like, I don't really care about Michael Myers anymore. All right, so Stephen Yeun was doing an interview with Collider, and he was talking about season 3 of Invincible, and he basically said, "Guys, we know you're upset about the 3-month break between part A and part B of season 2, but season 3 will not be like this at all." Okay, he said. For us, we know that the big break was not fun. We have been working hard to get a lot of backlog done, and we want to time this animation thing appropriately. So yeah, we've been working. We're banking episodes. We know what's going on. I really wish they would have had that energy for season 2 because it's just like, when does it come back again? March 14th. So, okay. So that will be what, Wednesday? Siri, when is March 14th?
It's Thursday, March 14th, 2024.
So Thursday. And it said that the finale of season 3 will be preparing Mark for the big boys, well, the big time. But yeah, the second half of season 2 will set up high stakes for Mark Grayson, along with a stacked cast adding to the excitement. I'm still excited for Invincible. And they better not pull this shit again with season 3. That's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump was saying. All right, while I'm talking about a little bit of TV and animation, Pamela Adlon, who was the voice of Bobby Hill on King of the Hill, said that they have a new generation of young writers working on the revival. And she said that they are adapting sweet spots of the classic into the new era. So I can't wait for this. I actually rewatched all of King of the Hill during the pandemic because I don't think I ever finished the series. Like, there was a lot of it I watched and there was a lot of it I didn't remember. And there was a good chunk of it that I did remember. Like the same thing with this X-Men binge. Like, I forgot. It's amazing what you remember and what you forget about certain things. So I was watching an episode of X-Men, the animated series, where Iceman was on it and he was trying to find Polaris. I remember watching the episode, but I did not remember that Iceman was on said episode. So when I got to it, I'm like, hey, Iceman was on an episode? But yeah, so just make it work. I mean, it's going to be a little bit weird because I think we're down like 3 castmates now because Brittany Murphy has passed, Tom Petty has passed, and Johnny Harwick passed last year. So I don't know how many voices they provided for other characters because I did know that before Joseph hit puberty, Brittany Murphy provided the voice for him. And honestly, I feel like they shouldn't recast Lucky and Luann at this point. Just make it seem like they just left Texas to go do their own thing. And I don't know if anybody can replace Johnny Harwick because his Dale Gribble was just, no one can do that, okay? No one can be Dale Gribble except Johnny Harwick. But I'll watch it. Like I said, I'm a big King of the Hill fan. All right, guys. I'm gonna take a break. So here's a message from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash or jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix one packet into 8 or 12 ounces of water and stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal. It's all the important vitamins. Drink and go conquer a task. Use promo code AngryBlerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order at dubby.gg.
Okay, welcome back, guys. So, Karen Gillan, who we all know as Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy, or if you're a Whovian like me, she played Amy Pond on Doctor Who. So she said she wants to play Poison Ivy in James Gunn's DCU. And if she does play Poison Ivy, she would like to see the relationship between Harley and Ivy. Everyone's saying that it's possible that she could pop up on the Arkham Asylum TV show that's supposed to be coming out, or Batman the Brave and the Bold. I got no problem with that. I feel like Karen Gillan might be starting to typecast herself by staying in the sci-fi geek world, because I don't think she's really done the fuck. I don't think she's really done much outside of that fucking web fucking pop up. I'm going to her filmography right now because, all right. So let's go to Karen's filmography. She's 36. Right, here we go. Karen Gillan performances. So film Oculus, that's kind of sci-fi occultish. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, she was in The Big Short. Guardians 2, she was in The Circle. Jumanji. The Party's Just Beginning. Okay, so she does branch out. I guess it's just like the bigger movies that she does is what, you know, a lot of people know her from. Like, I didn't know about this movie she did in 2023 called Late Bloomers. She did a movie in 2022 called Next Exit, but that's a sci-fi comedy drama. The Bubble, that's a comedy. I had to check that one out because apparently that one was done by Judd Apatow, and Judd Apatow don't really miss Duel. Yeah, she does a lot of sci-fi stuff. Is she in the Sleeping Dogs? Oh, that's a different Sleeping Dogs. I thought that was based off of the game Sleeping Dogs. But yeah, so shoot, if she wants to be Poison Ivy, better be Poison Ivy. But everybody gonna be turning into Mike Tyson with his pigeons if she does get cast as Poison Ivy, and her and Margot Robbie like not give, because that's what I'm seeing a lot of these gifs saying, you know, like, yeah, I can't wait to see Karen Gillan make out with Margot Robbie. Bro, y'all grow up. Sony / Columbia Pictures, their 100th anniversary is getting ready to come up. And they are starting to re-release some of their movies, I believe, in April. Let me double check this. Because Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy will indeed be re-released. And yeah, it looks like they're going to be re-releasing a movie from like apparently every decade. Taxi Driver, Doctor Strangelove, Labyrinth, Boys in the Hood, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Social Network, just to name a few. So, I mean, I'll go back and rewatch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy in theaters. Yeah, I was back in West Palm when Spider-Man 3 came out. Damn, that was 2007. I need to leave. But yeah, man, watching those movies, and they better be remastered. Jennifer Holland, who is James Gunn's wife, she said that Peacemaker Season 2 will start filming this summer. So, who was she talking to? Oh, she was at a con, I guess. Never mind, this was Instagram. So yeah, somebody said, yo, when are we going to get Season 2 of Peacemaker? And she said, we start filming this summer. It's going to be so good. But yeah, I mean, James Gunn finished writing Season 2 about 2 weeks ago, I want to say. So the sooner the better. Zack Snyder went on the Joe Rogan podcast and he didn't shit on stuff. He just Zack Snyder did. So, I mean, I listened to the episode a few days ago. It's a 2-hour conversation because Joe Rogan doesn't do interviews. He has conversations with people. So he said that more people saw Rebel Moon than Barbie.
Huh?
And he was saying that that's mainly because of the simple fact that in order to watch Rebel Moon, you didn't have to leave your home. All you had to do was just pop on Netflix on your TV or on your phone or on your tablet. So you didn't have to shell out, XYZ amount of dollars to go get gas, then XYZ amount of dollars to go buy a movie ticket, and XYZ amount of dollars to go and get your snacks and whatnot. So he said, you think about Netflix, for instance, when you push a button, apparently he said that Rebel Moon was at about 90 million views. And that's basically roughly, he said 80 or 90 million accounts, give and take. And he said they assumed 2 viewings per screen. So think that if a movie like that was in the theater as a distribution model, that's like 160 million people supposedly watching based on the math. If 160 million people bought a $10 ticket, 1.6 billion. Yeah, but Zach, that's not how metrics work, okay? Yeah, you might have gotten more views, but at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And I'm just like, sometimes you gotta try to defend Zack Snyder and the things that he says, but sometimes you can't. And I'm just like, yo, Zack, chill out.
You're
okay?
so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And then, Zack decided to just talk shit about Batman because he's still defending having Batman, kill a few people in Batman v Superman, which he did. So don't argue with me, argue with your mother, because that was a thing. When he went to go save Martha, he killed them people in that warehouse, and I'm just going to post a clip right here.
Read those 2 comics, it's hard to go back. To like you want to, and it's because I care that I want to take them apart. Like I want Batman. Like people are always like, well, Batman can't kill, right? So Batman can't kill is canon. And I'm like, okay, well, the first thing I want to do when you say that is I want to see what happens. And they go like, well, don't put him in a situation where he has to kill someone. I'm like, well, that's just like, you're protecting your God in a weird way, right? You're making your God irrelevant if he can't be in that situation. He has to now deal with that.
Yeah.
If he does do that, what does that mean? What does it tell you? But does he stand up to it? Can he survive that? Right? As a God, as your God, can Batman survive that?
I never thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's Zack Snyder. Love him or hate him, he's still just gonna keep making movies. I mean, he did the Snyder cut for Justice League, and he's got a director's cut of Rebel Moon coming out, I believe, in the summer, because he said the whole goal of Rebel Moon was to do a rated R cut, but Netflix was like, hey, can you give us a PG-13 cut first? And he said, the only way I'm gonna do this is if you allow me to do a director's cut of both movies, because he said that traditionally the director's cut is a FU to a studio, because every time he's had to do a director's cut, it was because people asked for it. So like the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman, the director's cut of Watchmen, the Ultimate cut of Watchmen, the Justice League, the Snyder cut, so on and so forth. I don't think Zack Snyder has any other director's cuts. I mean, unless he did one for like Sucker Punch and Legends of the Guardians of Gahul, the Owl movie. But I mean, he does kind of have a valid point as far as director's cuts go. He said, like, when he did the Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, he went over to the home media department, so the portion of Warner Brothers responsible for like Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff. He was like, yo, I got an additional like 20 minutes or so I can put into this. You think we can do that? And they let him do it. So, all right. So, a video game franchise that I was into until they decided to do the last one because Ubisoft be weird like that. Watch Dogs is actually getting a film adaptation in the works. And Sophie Wilde, who was in A24's Talk to Me, will star in the film. That's all we know so far. So hopefully this isn't Aiden's story and they try to flip it, because usually when it comes to Ubisoft movies, they always like try to tweak something. Like we all know the fiasco of Assassin's Creed. Like if you would have just did the first game, I think we would have had a franchise for a film franchise for those games. But can we just get like Watch Dogs with Aiden Pierce in dealing with all of his trauma and his revenge story? I would pretty much like that. Yeah, guys, I think that's it. I ain't got no more talking to do. So this is your boy Bernard, aka the Scarlet Spider. That was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We are on social media at Angry Blerd Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. The YouTube is also Angry Blerd Pod. And if you want to follow me personally, my Instagram and Twitter are at Scarlet Spider 86. That's ScarletSpyder 86. Yeah, as y'all can see, I did not review Doom 2 because Doom 1 was boring and I fell asleep like 10 minutes in that bitch. Dialogue was over. It's like, I can't do it. Fuck it. Next week, however many episodes of Invincible drop, those will be reviewed. And I will see y'all next week. See ya.